They did a study when people actually were able to label their emotions and not just good, bad, angry, sad, but really get some details with them. They're actually able to move through these emotions a lot quicker and had an easier time processing them. As humans, we experience a wide range of crazy emotions, and these emotions can come up during challenging times that seem to hit us out of nowhere. That's the purpose of this podcast, to teach you how to move through these difficult situations and harness these emotions that we feel to be able to create the life that you want. My name's Nathaniel Burke, and I'm the host of the Emotional Fitness Podcast. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm excited to be here. I know I was off for a while. Honestly, I had some time off for some holidays, which is always wonderful, and I actually got a bit of a sore throat that was just lingering on for weeks. So anytime I talked, it would actually cause me to cough quite a bit. So I'm really happy to be back and excited for this topic today because it's about change. This is inspired from the book Master of Change from Brad Stulberg. It's a wonderful book, but there's a lot of really great content in there that I suggest you look into. But something that really hit me that I thought was really wonderful and I want to use and share with you was the 4 P's of change. And that's what he talks about in this book. So without further delay, we're going to get right into that. What are the 4 P's of change? Because whether we like it or not, change is coming in our lives. We can take that change head on and embrace it, or we can divert and run and try to hide from it. The problem is when we move away and hide and resist that change, it actually causes a lot of stress in our lives. Not just emotionally, but it can actually cause our cortisol to spike, which is not good, especially if it's something that's constantly going on in our lives. So actually fighting that change can be very harmful to your health, physically and emotionally. And so this process is going to help you be able to move through change so that way you feel confident and comfortable in whatever direction you're taking that you want to make that change. So the first P of change is pause. Pausing and giving yourself time to breathe and giving your emotions room to breathe. This is a really key and critical point because how many times have we had something happen to us that we don't like, we want to respond to it, and we react right away and realize and regret later that we shouldn't have done that. We're having regrets about it. So giving yourself time. So the first P is pause. Pausing, giving your emotions room to breathe, giving yourself room to breathe. And now on top of that is actually labeling your emotions. They did a study when people actually were able to label their emotions and not just good, bad, angry, sad, but really get some details with them. They're actually able to move through these emotions a lot quicker and had an easier time processing them, which I thought was so fascinating because my preconceived idea was as soon as we start talking about emotions, labeling, all this sort of stuff, we can get really attached to them, which I think can happen. But the study showed that when we label them, so if you are feeling frustrated, angry, really hurt, upset, your morals have been broken, when you label something like that, you're actually able to move through things quicker and easier than if you don't. So that's the first piece, to pause and label your emotion, what you're feeling. If you're struggling with it, write it down. Maybe write down a few in that same category and see which ones really hit home and make sense. The second part of this is to actually process. Again, this ties into that first one by pausing, but the processing part I think is really critical. So that's actually giving yourself time to really think about what happened and why it happened and why you're feeling that way. A really wonderful technique that they've done quite a few studies on is the self-distancing technique, where instead of you thinking about this situation, saying, I should have done this or could have done that, and really making it about yourself, you take a step back and you talk to yourself as if it wasn't you, as if this situation was a friend or even an old version of you that's not the you now. I've used this technique before and I found it very, very powerful because it's allowing me to separate myself or my actions from myself, because I am not just one action and nobody is. that's not all who they are if they make just one action. So it allows you to get that bit of self-distancing to look at what happened and then who you want to be, which is kind of ties into the next step. The next step being, or the next P, so that's the third P, being plan. What's your plan? I always think of what's my plan and who do I want to be? Because let's say if I get upset from somebody that said something to me and I get angry at them and I react and I don't do these things, I don't pause, I don't process, then I become a person I don't want to be. And so that's tying into that, is making a plan and looking at what kind of person you want to be. Who do you want to be known for? Do you want to be somebody that is kind, loving, forgiving, understanding, strong? Or do you want to be somebody that's reactive, angry, doesn't get along well with people? These are tie hand in hand with making a plan. So really looking at when you go to make that plan, the other step that I adopted with this was to take time and actually meditate on it. And along with that, it's not just meditating, it's actually seeing and feeling what it would be like to do this new thing. So let's say you found out that you're going to lose your job. So you're losing your job. Of course you're upset. What are you going to do financially? If you were to stop and take a plan and make a plan and think about what that next step would be and think about, well, I could apply it, my friends' work and they're hiring, and really think about it and feel it. How does it feel? Does it feel good? Do you feel anxious when you're thinking about that? Do you feel excited? Do you feel nothing? These are all important things. So writing down that plan, really taking time to meditate and think and feel what it would feel like. And then the next step, and then the fourth P, is actually to proceed, to move forward. And this is so critical, where a lot of people can get stuck, is they get stuck in just the planning and process and planning and process, planning and process for so long that nothing ever happens. And I do understand that people move at different paces, I get it. But one thing I've noticed in my life, the quicker I take action, not always, but in a lot of scenarios, especially when it comes to emotional, the quicker I take action and do something about it, the better I feel. The better I feel in my relationship when I talk to my wife about something that I was maybe upset about. The better I feel about my work. The better I feel about my family, my kids when something was bothering me. The earlier I address those things and take action, the quicker you can move forward and feel good about it. Now, here's the caveat. If that plan doesn't make sense, stop, go back to step one and repeat. So if your plan was to retaliate at somebody because you lost your job, and then you really started thinking about it, going, that's not a good idea. Well, then go back. Go back and see why you're still upset. Go back and just feel and label, write it down, use your journal, write down how you're feeling, why you're feeling it. I know to some guys it sounds stupid, it sounds cheesy, it kind of even sounds sissy, but I've done this so many times and it is so effective. I'm not sitting in there for hours doing it. I'll just take 5-10 minutes and write down, why am I frustrated? What emotions am I feeling? Give myself time to process it. Again, if I need to, self-distance, and then make another plan. And then repeat those 3 steps as needed. But remember that at the end of the day, taking action is the ultimate cure-all and will make you feel so much better. I would say that the extra add on there is that when you take action, making sure you're doing it, thinking forward 2 or 3 years, and out of a place of the type of person you want to be. So again, if you are taking action and you're angry or still upset and those emotions are still not there, you're not ready to take action yet. But if you're feeling at peace, calm, I think that's a time that you can take action and move forward, which will not only help you move through this change, but bring a lot of confidence in your life and help you to be able to recognize that you can handle more than you're handling now, and that's okay. And to be honest, I'm going through this similar stuff. I'm going through things with certain businesses that are challenging, and it's causing me to change. And it is overwhelming, and it is frustrating. But the more and more I am doing this for step process, the easier it is, and the easier it is for me to move through this change and move through these difficult times. So that is my message for you, is exactly that, is use that process, that 4-step process. Pause, give yourself time to breathe, label the emotion, process, give yourself time to reflect, self-distance, make a plan, and then proceed. And I promise you, if you do those, you will feel so much more emotional confidence and strength and fitness. That change will just be one other thing that's just part of your life, because when you can handle these small changes, handling the big changes gets easier as well. So thank you so much for listening. I'm really excited that you made it this far. And if you are at a place in your life that you are struggling with this change and you're needing more, I would encourage you to reach out to lifepurposely.ca, because I'm now offering the emotional fitness course. I'm super excited because it is built around people like you to be able to move through these challenging times and to really take ownership and strength, and to be able to have the emotional strength and flexibility to take on life and all the challenges and changes it brings. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.